Okay. You sent me in. We're obviously doing something because of a bunch of things, but you sent me in when there was when the Israeli flag was on the TV, and I thought, well, the prompt is probably to talk about Iran because it's the first time the American president has sat down with a leader of Iran, the new leader of Iran, along with leader of China and leaders from the European Union. It was a big deal. That they all said that's the first time since 1979 of our president has. But I got the number on the video I made that would indicate like, like you're on the right track or something. But I just stayed. I just sort of stood down, and then you sent me in again with something for some sort of like, you prompted me again with something. Let me say this. We mentioned, I think, in the videos about the issue with Syria, that like I just look what when I explained that one reason that Russia and Iran and countries, one reason certain Eastern European governments and Middle Eastern governments are sort of like, why are they in such close alliance, and why can't we get backing to do a humanitarian intervention? I said, well, one thing a lot of governments share is like they have a lot of hatred towards America. Did you be surprised who's in agreement about that, and for a variety of reasons? But one of the things that would bring us into the international. It's very important with the role we play that we're part of the international community. I mean, because it can't. It doesn't. They would like we play that role, but I mean that we should be able to. We should live in reality over here. Um, when the first time American president is sitting down with the leader of Iran since 1979, I mean, one of the issues would have to be, that see if the perception, as I understand it, because at one time on our televisions they were telling people like that we should invade Iran. I mean, not we, by the way, in the past we use the CIA to overthrow their government, but let's stick to the present for a minute. That I mean, the issue of the perception of the American public, like, do they perceive Iran as like some kind of like country that should be invaded or something, or that it's kind of like a villain in the international community, because that's actually not part of reality. And that would be a topic among with leaders of European governments and our president and the Iranian leader sit down. And it's the first time the American president has sat down with the Iranian leader since 1979. One of the issues would have to be like, are these the leadership in America going, their political class, going to continue to tell Americans on their TVs that Iran is like about to build a nuclear weapon, and that there's some kind of villain, and that they should be invaded because that's out of touch with objective reality? That would be a topic that they would be talking about. It's a big problem that like our country lives. I mean, see, it's one thing. See, if it's our perception of Saddam Hussein or something was not out of step with reality. I mean, it's what things he was doing when it indicated that this person is, brutal and doesn't live in reality. Whether or not that what this Syrian. I mean, our perception of different Middle Eastern governments isn't that far. The fact that people aren't informed very much, and like I certainly don't know that much, but I mean, it's not like that out of step with reality. Iran is different. Iran, where Iran is in the international community, and how our like population perceives the country, that's we don't live in reality about that over here. And I mean, that's something that would have to change. But I do wonder what's in the minds of the population, like when they were told recently, not that long ago, that we should invade Iran. Like, right? I mean, what do they think is happening when President Obama sits down with other world leaders and the Iranian leader? Do they perceive like that he's sitting down with some kind of villain, or what do they think? That's probably much of what was discussed, because that's the one country our point of view here, what people have been told about Iran and what the rest of the international community perceives and what objective reality is, and we're not in the step with that over here. People, the very fact that people are listening to that, like we should invade the country, that would be one thing they probably talked about. Is that, what's going to happen?